everyone, welcome to Write by Mia. I'm Mia, and in this Writer's Life video, I am actually answering a question that one of you posed to me, which was, how did I think of my novel idea and how did I go about writing it? So it's a great question because the novel is something I've been working on for many years now. It's still a work in progress, but I would love to share part of my journey with you, my inspiration with you, and go from there. So first, I would love to give just a synopsis of the novel, very briefly what it's about. And basically the novel explores the complexities of colorism and the Black family. I'm told by the story of two siblings, one lighter-skinned, Joy, who's the older sister, and one darker-skinned, Anthony, the younger brother, as they grapple with their father's death. With the addition of a new stepfather in their family named Brian, who is also lighter skinned, Joy, Anthony, and their mother Sarah have to really come to terms with colorism and what it means to be part of a Black family with that colorism edge to it. So, super brief overview of kind of what it's about, the major themes that it's tackling, and it's definitely been a work that has been dear to my heart for many years now. So, where did the inspiration for even writing a novel come from? It's a huge undertaking, and I thought of it at a time in my life when I felt that I could truly take on the immense work of writing a novel. I was at Stanford at the time, and I was taking a lot of different classes dealing with creative writing, writing technique, reading great authors, and I felt really inspired to kind of take what I had learned and really put pen to paper on a topic that I was interested in. So in addition to that, just kind of my overall joy of being an English major at Stanford, I also had increasingly been taking an academic interest in the concept of colorism, Blackness, and the history of that phenomenon in the US specifically. So for those who don't know, colorism very broadly is a phenomenon in which lighter-skinned people are seen as, more privileged, are seen as prettier, better, more favorable than darker-skinned people. This is a huge phenomenon in the Black community, and it was a topic I really wanted to explore creatively as I had seen, a lot of different academic writings about it, had read, of course, other works about colorism or passing, and I really wanted to kind of put my own spin on it. So from a purely academic perspective, Stanford had not only given me the, encouragement and motivation to even write a novel, but also to explore a topic that was near and dear to my heart, that I had learned more about academically and could also identify with personally. So I began the germination of the idea probably my sophomore year when I was in a creative writing class and was given the task of writing an independent study short story. And so the thought of colorism and kind of creating a narrative around that had been bouncing around in my mind for a little while, and I decided to kind of act on it finally and write a story. So that initial short story introduced the characters that would later become the main characters in the novel, and I found that I was really drawn to these characters and was really drawn to the story. So I went forward from that independent study, knowing that I wanted to turn this into a larger work, which was really motivating and kind of scary because I love reading novels, but I just can't imagine all the work that goes into them. I kind of didn't even know where to start. So my junior, kind of senior year, I was really fortunate to be part of an honors program where I had the bandwidth and the support to focus on the novel as kind of part of my thesis. So I started writing a draft of it then and had some great input from all the other wonderful people who were in that program. Shout out to you all. And from there, the novel kind of grew into something actually tangible to me, and I felt that I could really dive deep into this topic and get my hands dirty with it and explore all the different ways in which colorism and the Black family and these characters could really meet and interact. So I spent probably that first year, my senior year, having a very rough draft. And, I had advisors who were helping me on the academic side as well as on the writing side. So I was super duper supported throughout that whole time. And it's funny, like looking back on it now, how thankful I am for that, because, coming out of school, graduating, and then moving, you find that you have much less time and sometimes even less motivation to do something like this. So I think the important thing that I want to kind of go into now is how I kind of stayed motivated writing it, and how it kind of moved from an academic exercise to much more personal exercise, if that makes sense. So as I mentioned, while at Stanford, I, did a lot of exploration academically of, colorism and passing and the history of it and all of that. And I did have a personal connection to it as well, which kind of really propelled me during those times when I didn't have as much support. As you probably can see, I am very light-skinned, and I come from a family of all different shades. And so though I grew up in a majority predominantly white place in Colorado, I of course was one of the token few in school and was dealing with that. I always felt very safe and secure in my Black family. I come from a huge Black family on my mom's side, and on my dad's side, and so having that as a base of support was really important to me growing up. And it made me think while writing the novel, well, what does a Black family look like? Because I don't really look Black to some people. I get a lot of Hispanic or different. I'm kind of ambiguous in that way sometimes. And many times when I was growing up or feeling insecure, I would feel, not Black enough, growing up in Colorado, and maybe not understanding as many, Black kind of traditions or whatever that you would hear from other people growing up in different places. So I guess personally, Blackness and the Black family, as well as, being light-skinned and kind of understanding what that meant, all propelled me as I continued writing the novel, continued revising, and really had to dig deep into who these characters were, what their motivations were, and how they wanted to go about dealing with their color and their family, right? So after graduating and having this draft, I put it down for a while, actually. I think I explored this in some of the short stories on my site. Was when you start working and you're an adult with responsibilities, you kind of feel as if you can't really devote your time to that stuff you're more passionate about, because you're just more focused on getting used to dealing with all of the responsibilities that come with being an adult. But I think that personal push and just, my love for my characters really allowed me to come back to it with like this renewed vigor after about probably, close to a year of, not even looking at it. And from there, I was really able to dive deeper into my characters, and they came much more naturally to me, interestingly enough, when I was able to return to them with fresh eyes, and I think a bit more maturity after, living on my own, and being more of an adult, by doing that. So at this stage, I am not finished with it, but I am actively working on it now, actually, probably in my 6th or 7th revision, I can't even count. But I find now that I have an idea of what this novel is about and what I want it to be, I'm just so excited to make it the best, art and best work that I can. And I'm just so motivated to do that, which is, really, really nice, because I'm sure plenty of writers will tell you those, times when you're just feeling so unmotivated and that everything you write is, crap and you can't find any inspiration. So I'm definitely clinging to this time of motivation and energy to really get the novel to a place where I can hopefully, share it and get some really good feedback. So yeah, that's kind of all I wanted to share. Just kind of my journey in writing this, how I thought about it, and sort of my continued passion for it, which I'm so thankful for. And I definitely, want to give a shout out to the people who encouraged me along the way. Definitely, of course, my husband Devin, who saw it from the beginning and has been amazing in giving me support and suggestions and feedback. My family, who knew that I wanted to write from a very young age and always supported it ever since I was little. And then, of course, all the wonderful people at Stanford who helped me in those initial drafts, from the academic side, from the writing side. My advisors, Professor Michelle Elam and Sarah Frisch, and all the wonderful people in the honors and the arts cohort my senior year, who just really gave me great feedback and motivation to keep writing it, and gave me hope that I could someday share it with the world, which would be awesome. So again, it's still a work in progress, but I've actually really enjoyed talking about my journey with it, and actually may do, a few more videos talking about this journey and what it's meant. But this is just kind of the teaser and kind of a broad overview of what's brought me to this point. And I encourage all of you to definitely continue to send me suggestions on what you would like to see me talk about or write about. This actually was a question from one of you all, so thank you for that. And as always, I encourage you to like and subscribe. Videos like this will be dropped pretty frequently, and I will be writing some more. So thank you all for listening to kind of a rant, I guess, but hearing about my journey with the novel up until this point. Again, just so appreciate y'all as always. Thanks so much. Talk to you soon.